What's up YouTube? Georgia Silver Hunter back, and today we're going to do something we haven't done in quite a while, and that's hunt a full box of bank wrapped nickels. These come by way of, I think, a Wells Fargo, if I recall. I was excited when I got these open. I always open my boxes at the bank because I do get a lot of new coins, especially in nickels and dimes when they're bank wrapped. So I was really excited to get these open and see all of these older, more circulated nickels rather than the newer stuff. So excited to get in here, hoping we find those silver war nickels, some buffaloes, and maybe even some really old V nickels. So with that, let's jump into it. So before we jump into our first roll, I do want to point out, if you are going to hunt nickels, they are a lot of fun, but I do recommend a few resources. One being, you need some kind of search list, and a book like Strike It Rich with Pocket Change is a great book to use. I'll just show you here. It's going to go through all the various mint varieties and errors that are worth, more than a nickel. So like the 1985 D has a D over horizontal D error. It's going to have pictures and some general circulated and uncirculated values for that coin. So if we were to find one of those, they're saying $25 to $75 in circulated or $125 plus in uncirculated. So it's a great little book. It has pictures. I highly recommend it. This has become one of my main resources during my hunts. I also do have a free resource in the description down below that has just sort of a listing of all of the potential errors that I do look for, but it doesn't come with pictures. Another book that you may be interested in, the 2025 book, I think is already out. I have the 2023 and maybe the 2024, but they don't change a lot from year to year. But this is a great resource for anyone that is coin roll hunting because it's going to have your coins, your mint marks, and again, values of those based on specific grades that those coins might be. So this is another must-have resource. Check the description down below the video. I will have my Amazon affiliate links for those books down there. And the last thing I want to point out is it's great to have some kind of album to fill. We've been working on this for about 2 years now, and I'm only missing about 7 or 8 nickels to complete it, other than our proofs, which you'll find here. We've got lots and lots of holes for proofs, but every nickel that I have in here came from coin roll hunting. So we're going to have that put aside as well. Hopefully we'll find some things to fill some holes. So with that, let's go ahead and open 1 or 2 rolls on camera, just kind of edge hunt for silver. I'll go back through them off camera and bring you in as we find things. One of the main things I'll be pulling you in for is any kind of, we'll call it a quote-unquote find, and that would be 1959 and earlier. And most of our really valuable coins are going to be in that 1959 and earlier range. I'm just looking real quick to see if anything jumps out at me here. Let's open 2 or 3 of these on camera. What else can I tell you? Other than that, we'll be hunting for those mint errors and mint varieties throughout. And we'll be using the Strike It Rich book for that. Now, typically, nickels are a little harder to edge hunt. But the war nickels, a lot of times, will jump out at you. There's a 61. There's a current buffalo. We don't want the current ones. We want the old ones. And I may be missing some older stuff in here. I'm just kind of thumbing through very quickly. It's a really nice 88D. All right, we're going to do one more here on camera. But I do see a lot of older nickels, which makes me think this might be a lot of fun as we go through them nickel by nickel. And this guy's kind of just a 76. See what we have here. It's just a newer nickel that's discolored. 64. All right. Well, like I said, I'll go off camera as I find things, and I may bring you back in actually for these 3 rolls. But I don't see anything really super interesting right off the rip. So hopefully I'll see you soon. So we've gotten into roll number 4 and bringing you in for our first find. We got ourselves a 1946, and let's see if we got a Philly or a Denver. Looks like we got a Philly. The little Denver mint mark would be right there. And because it came up obverse, I've gone ahead and gotten my book out to see if there's any things we can look for. And you can see there's a double die reverse on the 46 Philly. Had it been a Denver, we'd be looking for that repunched mint mark. It'd be really nice if that were a repunched mint mark. But the DDR looks like we're looking in the cents here, and really it's all lettering. So let's have a look under the scope to see if we have one of those. So we'd be looking for really thick, strong lettering on this, and a lot of times I found when I first started coin roll hunting that I wasn't really sure what that meant. So the pictures really help, and then also just kind of keeping this aside, and if you find another 1946, you can compare the lettering. Now, just looking at this one, I think we have a regular plain old 1946 Philly, but this is kind of how my process goes as I find things. I check them in the book, we check the scope, and 99% of the time we don't find anything, but it's pretty cool when we do. So just a little bit later in the same roll, we came across a 1954. Now it was reverse facing, so I had to turn it over to see that it was going to be a find, and you can see we also have the roller damage on here, the ring of death kind of damage on here. What makes this one a little bit interesting, though, is that it is a San Francisco mint mark, and there are a few various varieties on this guy. It looks a little funny under magnification, and I'm zoomed way, way in here. We got this little bit of metal flaring out from here. There are some repunched mint marks on this guy, but I don't think that's what this is. I think this is just some post-mint damage in there, but it's still a 1954S on the hunt. Got into roll number 5, and we are exactly 5 nickels in, and it surprised me. It is a little yellow and ugly, but we've got ourselves a 1947. Looks like a Philly. And just looking at the color on some of these, I'll probably be bringing you back in soon. So bringing you back in, we are 6 coins from the end, and we've got a 1942. Now, typically I would get excited and think this might be a silver war nickel, but just from the color, I can tell that it's not going to be. So let's see what mint mark we have, and it's a Denver. The 42 Denver does have a repunched mint mark in the non-silver variety. Let's check out this Denver mint mark. And I'm not seeing it, so 1942, Denver for the board. Just got roll number 6 out, and I was spreading it out, and I already see we've got a find towards the back. The date poked right out. Got ourselves a 1941 Philly. Got roll number 7. We've come across another obverse facing 50s nickel. This time a 1958. Looks like a Denver. So we're getting through roll number 20 here, and I've pulled a couple extra things along the way. Anything that's like a real big stunner I'm hanging on to, and this one's going to fall into both categories. This came up obverse facing, and it's absolutely gorgeous for being a 1959. Still has quite a bit of luster to it. Looks like we have a Philadelphia, and look at the steps on this thing. I mean, at least to the naked eye, they look great. Let's check it out here under the scope. Now, we're not going to get full steps, but we have a lot of steps on this particular nickel. This thing's absolutely gorgeous, and I'll be shocked if it's not an upgrade for our book. But that's going to go kind of right here between our pre-60s nickels and our stunners. We are into roll number 24, about a halfway through, and I haven't looked at the obverse yet, but just looking at the reverse, you know that this coin's going to be old, and it's pretty darn beat up as well. I would say most of that has got to be post-mint damage. Let's see what we have. Well, we know we have a Philly. Let's check out the front. Okay, we've got a 1939. So the first Jefferson nickel started in 38, so we got almost a first-year Jefferson. The 39, I think, has DDO and DDR. So let's just check a few markers, see what we can see here. All right, not seeing anything in Liberty. Not seeing anything in Trust. This coin's in really bad shape, so even if we found something, it wouldn't be too valuable, but it'd still be pretty cool to find. Of course, the big one we want to look at is the Monticello for massive doubling, and this is so damaged that, as I said earlier, probably not worth anything if it is, but it's just more post-mint damage than it could be anything else. But still, a 1939 on the hunt. Now, along the way, I haven't brought you in for a bunch of stuff. Anything that's been a duplicate. We've got a 41. I think we found another 46, 47. The 58 Denvers have been on fire, and we've added a few stunners to our list to check our book. But outside of that, it's been a fun hunt. We're going to keep on going. So we've gotten into roll number 26, and we've got our next find, or at least our next unique find. It is a 1956 see what we have here. Got a 1956 Denver. Let me check real quick. 56, 55. Now the Philly has a QDR and a TDR, but the Denver I don't believe has any variety. So we'll put it up here between our 57, or actually is it before? Or between our 54 and our 58. Right there. Bring you back in all the way up here on roll number 32. We have another older nickel, and this one could be interesting. It could be a Silver War nickel. If it's got that P, D, or S above Monticello, we've got silver. If we have it on the side or no mint mark at all, we've got a nickel clad. So let's check it out. And we have no mint mark up here, so this has to be nickel clad, regular 1942. We just got the paper off of roll 34, and I believe we have found what we've been looking for, and it is that special color of a Silver War nickel. Hopefully that's showing up on camera okay. 3 from the end. We've got another one that looks a little tarnished and ugly. I just think it's going to be a regular nickel, but let's check this guy out here down on the end. Got a regular 2005, and look at that. We've got ourselves a 1945. You can see that patina on it. Now, we've got some green gunk. Let's see what we have here. We have a 1945 Denver. I do know that there's a handful of nickels that I need for my book. Let me check and see if this is going to end up being a hole filler, but at the end of the day, we found ourselves a nice little 35% Jefferson War nickel. We got some damage on it, but that's all right. Let's check the book, see if we need it. So I pulled out my album here. It's our 38 through really 2023, and right there, you can see we have a hole for our 1945D silver alloy, so we've got a hole filler and some silver. So same roll, just 2 nickels from the end. This one actually surprised me. I couldn't tell from the color when I spread it out, but we've got another very early Jefferson nickel, a 1939. Let's see if we got a mint mark. We do not, and let's go ahead and check for some DDO and DDR on this thing. Wow, I'm kind of way zoomed in. Let's pull out a little bit, make it a little easier to see. So I'm not seeing anything in the lettering or in the numbering. Let's check out the words Monticello and 5 cents, because that's where it's really important to see it. On the DDR, and I am not seeing it there either. So just a regular 1939. So getting into roll 46, I got the paper off and just laid it out, and as I did, one jumped out at me here. We got ourselves a 1949 poking out. Let's see if we got a Philly or Denver on this guy. Looks like we have a Philly, and I can't remember if we found one of those already. I've been trying to not show you repeats here. I see 46, I see 57, so 49 does look like it's a new one. So we're getting into our last 3 rolls in the box, and we have a late find here. We got ourselves a 1957. I double-checked. I found lots of 58s and a 56, but no 57s, and this one's a Denver, and it's in terrible shape, but it is a find nonetheless. So getting into roll number 49, just got them out of the wrapper and spread them out, and one jumped out at me. You can see it right there. I was actually checking the dark ones to see if they might be war nickels, and that jumped out at me. We got ourselves a 1947. I believe it's the first one on the hunt. Got a 47. Got a Denver. Well, we've reached the end of the hunt, and that's why you see my album up here. I've actually gone through all of our finds to see what I could pull that could be upgrades, but let's first go through and show you everything that we found, and because I know I didn't bring you in for every piece of it. And just pulling back here, you can see we have probably about a full roll of nickels that we yanked out of that box. Starting down here, we had a couple of 1939s. I'm not going to read off the mint marks, but I showed many of them the first find, and if they were the same mint mark and everything, I didn't include it in the video, but we got some 41s, a couple of clad 42s. Now, one of my favorite finds of the hunt, even though it's kind of ugly, is this 1945 Denver, because it will be a book filler. So we'll show punching that down here in a minute. We did get a couple of 46s, a couple of 47s, a 49, a 54, a couple of 57s. I think it was 6 1958 Denvers. That's what I recall. All of them were Denvers. And a couple of 59s and one stunner that's actually going to end up being an upgrade for my book. I did check this one. This 1959 Philly just looks outstanding, and I think we even have some steps on it. It's not full steps because we have some damage, but To find that many steps on a 1959, in my opinion, is pretty darn good. So we've got 359s, and then I just pulled, this box had a whole bunch of 1970Ss, and this 1970S is also going to be an upgrade for our book. It might have been polished, but it's an outstanding looking nickel. So that too is going to go in the book. Let's take a look here at the steps situation. Well, not great from a steps perspective, but a really, really nice looking nickel. I did pull a bunch of blingy looking coins because I know I've got some ugly ones in the book. So anything now that's kind of shiny, kind of nice, good detail, I'm pulling and checking against the album. I'm not going to read off all the dates, but anything that's kind of pushed up here is going to be a book upgrade. So that 75, you'll see. We did have an 84 Denver that's going to be an upgrade. We also came across an 86 Denver that's an upgrade, and some of them might be just very, very minor upgrades. They just had more eye appeal than what I have in my book in many cases. This 88D was really, really close. My 88D already looks pretty good, so I left that in there, and then both of these on the end are also upgrades, the 94D and the 2015D, if I recall. So we're going to go ahead and get the album out. We'll get the camera up on the rack. We'll punch those down while we do our little outro here so you can see them going in, and hopefully you guys enjoyed this one. It was a lot of fun, and we found a whole bunch of stuff. All right, so I've gone ahead and pulled all the plastic covers off of this. I'm going to go ahead and get stuff pushed down that's new and pulled out and pushed down that's an upgrade. And we may speed this up a little bit because this can be a little bit tough to do. Well, as I get through this book punching down all of the upgrades, and apologies I can't zoom you in a bit further, but I wanted you to be able to see the entire book as we go through it. I do really love hunting nickels. I wish I could do it a bit more often than I have been, especially full boxes. I do a lot better in my nickel box hunts than I do in my customer wrap nickels, but it is fun. If you haven't started a nickel collection and you are coin roll hunting, you're not going to find tons and tons of silver, at least based on my experience, but you know, every couple of boxes you might get lucky and find one or two or three. I was really excited to get the 45D in this hunt and have that as a book filler. This book that I'm using here, I did buy on Amazon. You can even get the additional pages for it like I did to get you at least to like 2023. I do like it because the plastic slides in and out, and the coins are actually pretty easy to get in. As you can see, I do struggle a little bit to get the coins back out as I replace stuff, but that's because I didn't remove the plastic on the back side. I'm just being a little lazy here. But if you did enjoy this video, let me know. Drop on down below. Click that like button and leave me a comment. I'd really appreciate it. If you're new to the channel and you like coin roll hunts, make sure you do click on that subscribe button. Then click on that little bell and select all so you get notified each and every time I do release a new video. I'd really, really appreciate that. Love all the new subscribers. If you liked it, didn't like it, let me know in the comments down below. I try to respond to just about every comment I get. Lately, it has taken me a couple of days to get to the comment section, but I do try to at least give you that thumbs up and that heart and reply with a thank you if I can, sometimes a bit more. So anyway, special shout out to all my channel members. Really appreciate you guys. Thanks for supporting the channel each and every month. If you want to learn more about the membership tiers, there is a join button down below, and just one of the major perks you get is you get to see my videos anywhere from a few hours to a few days early. And that tier is only like $1.99 a month. So anyway, again, I hope you guys are all doing well. Take care, and I look forward to seeing you in the next one.